Meeting of the Pahokee City Commission, Tuesday, February the 27th, 2024, to order at 6 p.m. May we please stand for the invocation provided by Vice Mayor Clara Mervin, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, we come before you today, God, to say thank you for another day. Thank you, God, for life, health, and strength, God. God, as we come together today, God, to convene, God, to do the business of the city. Father God, we ask you, God, to give us guidance and give us wisdom and give us understanding. Most of all, God, we ask you, oh God, that you be with us, oh God. Oh God, that we will hear from you, oh God, and bless this city of Pahokee. Bless our citizens, oh God, and our commission. Bless our city staff, oh God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Babb.
Present.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
Present.
Commissioner Bolden.
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Present.
Commissioner Perez.
Here.
City Manager.
Present.
City Attorney.
Present.
City Clerk. Present.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Thank you, staff. Thank you, commissioners. And most importantly, thank our audience for being here today to participate in our regular scheduled commission meeting. We're going to move along our agenda. The first order on here is the additions, if any.
Yes, sir. We need to add the council, the March 12th commission meeting, because we'll be in National League of City Conference in D.C. March 11th through the 12th. Then the other thing, since we have a lot of presenters, ask that commission move the presentation up ahead of public comments, and also move Amarillis Gardens presentation to 1.
Okay, City Commission, having heard the city manager recommendation to move the presentation up ahead of public comments, and Amarillis Garden would be at number 1 as far as comments. What is your pleasure?
Mayor, I move that we will accept the agenda with the add-on March 12, 2024. Also with the moving the presenters up, 1 being Amarillis Garden, 2 being Palm Beach County School District, Marsh Andrews, and the 3 Lake Okeechobee Regional, that's the lower committee here tonight.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Bolden for the acceptance of the agenda as presented with the changes. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden.
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes.
Mayor Babb.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Next, we'll have our public service comments, public service announcement, presentation,
No,
proclamation.
We just moved it up. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Mayor.
With presentation being at the top of the agenda before public service comments. So at this time, we would go into our presentations, and I'll have our city manager introduce each of the presenters.
Thank you, Mayor. First, we'd like to bring up Amarillis Gardens and their staff. I handed a pack out to you guys of what they're speaking of, and that's the renovations of 44 units right off of Amarillis, and their plans on what they're going to do in the renovations.
Good evening. Good evening.
Can you hear okay? Yes, thank you. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Babb, Vice Mayor Morgan, commissioners, and the city manager for the opportunity to speak to you this evening and to provide an update in terms of where we stand with our renovation plans at Amarillis Gardens. Amarillis Gardens is a property, just by background for those in the audience and for those who may not be familiar with the property. It's a property that's situated on 5.63 acres. It's 44 units of multifamily housing. It's affordable housing that was built in 1992, and it was financed through the USDA under the 514 and 516 program. Over the course of the years, it was owned and operated by a nonprofit, later went into another line of business, and we were the property managers for the property for more than 10 years. My name is Greg Heisen. I am the Vice President of Nelson and Associates. I'm also the Executive Director of Diverse Housing Services, which is the nonprofit housing.
They can hear you on the YouTube.
Again, I'll repeat, my name is Greg Heisen. I'm the Vice President of Nelson and Associates, and I'm the Executive Director of Diverse Housing Services, which is the nonprofit sponsor of Amarillis Gardens. As many of you are aware, Diverse Housing Services acquired Amarillis Gardens in 2020. We did so after having managed the property for several years and recognizing the need for getting additional capital infused into the property. We therefore put together an application with USDA to acquire the property and to receive assistance for the renovation of the property. Over the course of the last 3-4 years, we provided additional subsidy to the property in the form of rental assistance, and we made applications to the Federal Home Loan Bank for financial assistance, as well as the Housing Assistance Council. What you have before you this evening is an outline that describes the activities that have taken place and the actions that we anticipate performing to bring about the rejuvenation of the property. It's a 44-unit property. It contains 16 two-bedroom, 24 three-bedroom, and 4 four-bedroom units. Over the course of the last 30 years, we've experienced a fair amount of deterioration as a result of weather activities that have taken place, hurricanes, etc. It did receive funding and did receive improvements in 2009. It was originally built in 1992. But it's at the stage now in its age where it requires additional upkeep and it requires additional funding to do things that are necessary to improve the property, such as replacing the roofs, replacing windows. In 2008, it had 13 windows that were damaged as a result of the hurricane. The remainder of the units did not receive hurricane-resistant improvements to the property. There are a number of other issues that will require attention on behalf of the property. There is some disabled and 504 issues and ADA compliant issues that have to be resolved. We're going to increase the amount of ADA units that are at the property. There's the need to produce a 4-bedroom ADA compliant unit. The funding that we will receive for the property will enable us to do that, among other additional repairs that will take place on the interior unit. So today, through your efforts and through your support, and we fully appreciate the support of the city of Pahokee that has given us over the years, in applications that we've made, we've been able to achieve, most recently, in the third quarter of 2023, a funding commitment from Palm Beach County in the amount of $1,262,000 to assist us in making improvements to the property. In addition to that funding, which is in the form of a 0% 50-year loan to the property that will enable us to make those repairs, we also are going to increase the amount of money that we receive from the Housing Assistance Council in the form of a 33. In the form of a lower interest, 33-year loan of an additional $500,000 for a combination of $1 million
roughly $850,000 that we'll be able to put into making improvements to the property that are much needed. With me this evening, and I neglected to introduce, is the chairman of our board of directors, Mrs. Hyson, and together with Mrs. Hyson is Brindle Brinson, who's the on-site manager. Now, over the course of the years of our managing the property, in addition to maintaining it, maintaining the upkeep and doing the best that we could in terms of keeping it in as good a shape as possible, we also pride ourselves as managers in being able to network and bring about services to the residents of the community. The occupancy and the residency of Amarillis Gardens is predominantly devoted to very low-income residents, many of whom need services, many of whom have little access to the kinds of services that are provided within the community. Brindle Brinson has been a person who's tirelessly worked with the residents in the community and the network of service providers to bring about the kind of attention that's necessary in making a healthy community at Amarillis Gardens. So we're really proud of the work that she's done. We've asked very little thus far of support for the project financially from the city. But what we are asking for this evening, and it's outlined in the end of the package, is that there are a number of areas of sidewalk that are surrounding the property that are in need of attention. Some of the money that we'll receive, and as a part of the comprehensive needs assessment that was done on the property, identifies the need to make pathways available to people with disabilities, make those areas accessible. We are now being required to bring about pathways to the exterior of the property. What surrounds the property are conditions that really do need to be addressed and need to be provided for. Now, it is my understanding, Mayor Babb, that there is that type of money that is available within the city that will be devoted to making those kinds of improvements, and that the area surrounding Amarillis Gardens is included as a part of that in the future. Our hope is that that will continue to remain so that as we complete the renovation of the project and we're able to connect the pathways within the property to the exterior, at that time, there will be that money made available to make those improvements to the property. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your continued support. Without you and without the support of the city, the funding that we've received from the county would not have been made possible. Over the years, we've made numerous funding requests for grants that the city has supported us with. We continue to appreciate what has been done and hope that you'll be able to continue to support the project as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Mr. Heinsohn. Next up will be Marsha Andrews, Palm Beach County School District, with an update on the school district.
And good evening to the mayor, Mayor Keith Babb, Vice Mayor Clara Mervin, all of the commissioners, our city manager, Mr. Lucas, and staff, and the community. I'm Marsha Andrews, your school board member. And I always want to say thank you for electing me in 2010 to serve the community, to serve the students of the city of Pahokee, as well as Canal Point. I bring you greetings from our superintendent of schools, Superintendent Michael Burke, who is on the ground in this community often. I must say to you, being your school board member, it's nice to be here tonight at the city commission meeting, but I find myself in Pahokee all the time because I want to be involved within our schools, to be able to work with all of our principals. We have many of them here tonight, our teachers and our staff. And it's truly all about our students being successful academically. And tonight we do have some of our principals and our teachers here. I certainly want to recognize them. But as I tell you, City Commission, Safety means everything to all of us. And, you know, we're ready now on the list to have metal detectors at Pahokee Middle Senior High School coming soon. Right now, the school district has worked on making sure that all of our high schools have metal detectors. And it is just an additional layer of security for the schools. I would like to invite each one of you to take a tour of each of our schools in the city of Pahokee, as well as Canal Point, to look at the safety issues, not just because of the metal detectors, but the hardening of the schools. All of our schools have at least one, sometimes two police officers on staff, cameras, as well as other security initiatives to keep our children safe. It's important that our children are safe. They have to feel safe coming to school, coming home from school, and in the school for them to be able to do well academically. So safety is a priority, and academics comes right with safety. The superintendent of schools wants to thank the commission and the city of Pahokee for always supporting the school district of Palm Beach County. We've been able to be successful because you have been there with us along the way. Having been in the school district for so many years as a teacher and a principal and an administrator at the district level, and certainly your school board member for the past 16 years, I know each and every one of you, and I know your heart is for our children within our community. And for inviting us here tonight, it's my pleasure to tell you we're working hard for you. And it's easy to talk about it here at the meeting, but I want to invite you as my guest to visit each one of the schools in Pahokee with me, as well as Canal Point, so I can point out all of the great things that are happening within our schools. And tonight I have with me our regional superintendent, Superintendent Angela Moore, who actually oversees all the schools. And she says, Ms. Andrews, you're out here as much as I am in the schools, but it's all of us as a family working together. The principals are the leaders. They're just like the mayors and the commissioners, like you are for the city of Pahokee. They're the ones that lead our schools to make sure the schools have everything that they need. And certainly when I think about the teachers, without the teachers, we have no one. So the teachers in the classroom instructing our children to make sure they can learn, grow, and develop, it means so much to all of us. And so I always thank them. And as I look out in the audience, I see the Lake Okeechobee Regional Economic Alliance of Palm Beach County. You're a part of what we do within our school district. Thank you all for coming to the Glades Career Readiness Roundtable that covers Canal Point, Pahokee, Belle Glade, and South Bay monthly, where we go over any and everything that's important that's happening within our schools. Superintendent Angela Moore keeps our city manager and our commissioners informed about what's going on within our schools, but who better to tell you some exciting things that's happening within our schools than the principal, the leader of the school. So I'm going to ask Miss Angela Moore to come up and say hello. I want you to see the principals. You know them, but they're the ones that truly bless us every day, taking care of the children. I surely want them to say a few words, but then I want to open it up to you. There may be a question on your mind or a request that you want to ask of me as your school board member to make it happen, working through the superintendent, Superintendent Mike Burt, and Superintendent Angela Moore. We can make it happen because it's about all of us. Superintendent Angela Moore.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews, for giving me an opportunity to be here tonight. Thank you, Mayor Babs and the commissioners for allowing us to be here tonight. And just to briefly introduce ourselves to some of you and to reintroduce ourselves to you. I'm Angela Moore, and I proudly serve as the Glades Regional Superintendent. And I want all of you to know that we are committed to serving the students in this community and to also improve outcomes for all of our students in the Glades region. At this time, I would like for each principal, if we can just get 1 minute of time for each of them to introduce themselves and their staff to you and also tell you a few things about what they're doing in their schools. And as you heard Mrs. Andrews say, to also invite you to our schools. The only way you can really know what we're doing is to really be a part of the work that is happening in the schools. We have an open door policy when it comes to that, and we do want the support and the continued support, because we already have the support from the commissioners and all of you who are in here. But we want you to know that it is a partnership between us, and we're definitely open to having all of you visit our schools and to ask questions, as Mrs. Andrews stated. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. McTier, who is our instructional superintendent, to introduce herself to you, and then we'll have our principals come up and share just a few things about themselves and their schools. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Babb, Vice Mayor Claire Mervin, all commission, and the community. It is indeed a pleasure to be here tonight to share the great things that are taking place in Pahokee and Canal Point. Here with me tonight, I'm going to introduce to some, but most of you know her, is Dr. Karen Abrams. Karen is the proud principal of Pahokee Elementary, where you'll be proud to know they were only 2 points away from earning a school grade of a B last year. If you know anything about our 7 schools here in the region, they compete. And when I tell you that South Bay had us hooked for a while, but Pahokee Elementary is coming through, and they're excited about the great things to come. I'm also going to introduce to you tonight to Dr. Hibbler, who's doing great things in Canal Point. Their school is also working very hard to make sure they improve their school grade. One of the things that I will tell you is that last year, the schools had no learning gains. And what that means is you typically have 8 cells that schools use in order to get a school grade. That's not just here for Pahokee. That is for all across the state of Florida. And learning gains really help us to help our students who are not quite there to make incremental steps to get there. And so last year, we're very proud of the work that they've done, because none of the schools had learning gains. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring up Dr. Karen Abrams.
Good evening. Dr. McTier articulated much of what we were going to say, but that's okay. What I would like to do is introduce myself again. I'm Dr. Karen Abrams. I've been at Pahokee Elementary IB World School for approximately 13 years. I would like to also introduce my teachers and staff that are here. We have my assistant principal, Ms. Bolden Baker, who's here. We also have Ms. Sherry Vargo, who's our instructional support person. And I have one of my teachers here, Ms. Sanquetta Cowell, who's math support. Again, she kind of mentioned that we were like 2 points away from being a B this year. And this year we're gonna work very hard to get those 2 points and more. Because we're working very hard to receive an A. I would like to accredit that to I'm sorry. I know one of our teachers is on your board, but I want to make sure I'm going to mention him as well, Mr. Derek Bolden, because he's a part of our success. So Mr. Bolden is also one of my science teachers at my school, and he is doing a phenomenal job. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. I also mentioned my staff because, you know, I want to work in Pahokee forever, but I won't be able to do that. But I know that Ms. Bolden and Ms. Vargo, they have been dedicated. They've been working really, really hard to help our school get to where we are, and they will be great assets in the future. So again, we're a Pahokee Elementary IB school. We have approximately 350 students there at our school, serving the Tri-City area because we're a magnet school. That means we have students here, Belle Glade, and South Bay. So again, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thanks for having me serve for me. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I'm Dr. Hibbler, Principal of Canal Point Elementary School, and I want to say it's an honor to be part of this conversation this evening. Thanks to the commissioners for your support. I've been in the Glades area for over 20 years. I don't live here, but I live here. I'm not from here, but I'm from here. So my blood now has thinned out, coming from the north, and I'm like as Ms. Moore always says about our DNA, my DNA is now part of the Pahokee and the Glades area. So one thing I like to say is we are doing a lot at Canal Point. one of the push that I'm into this year, and finally it's happening, is getting that pavilion built for our school. As you know, we're one of the few schools that was left out of the loop for years, not having a pavilion outside for our babies as they in recess, not having no restroom to get to, with the exception of running into the building if they can, especially our little kindergartners, to get there safely. And a lot of times they didn't make it. So thank God, after 10, 11 years, and one of our favorite parents is in here also in part of this discussion, along with Miss Andrews. I was trying to see where she is. There she is. Who's always around us. This movement to get our pavilion is now happening. We have the structure up now. We can see a pavilion shaping up and so forth, and we're looking for the completion of this to be done by the end of this school year, is what we're promised, well, what they stated that it would be. So that is our big push right now, is trying to get that. The other thing is, as you know, we never closed down Canal Point. When I took the school over 12 years ago, I always said that it's important to keep the school open. I wondered, why did it close over the summers? So, you know, after writing a few grants, you know, we continue to write this grant. We get awarded this grant every summer, every year. It helps keep our school open, as well as keeping our kids in the school ground during the summer to be safe and to learn, because we have academics as well as field trips that's planned in this process. So just want you all to know that we are working hard to keep the grant running, keeping our school open this summer. I know there's some other plans in place, but I'm also a praying man to know that God's in control, and that we can keep our school open this summer and continue to keep it open each summer going forward. And again, as you all have already heard the invitation, we invite you all to come to Canal Point, as well as Pahokee Elementary. But come to Canal Point and take some walkthroughs. My doors are always open, you know, and what you see is what you see. You know, we don't sugarcoat anything at Canal Point. If it's a bad day, it's a bad day, but most of our days are good days. And that's what I like about it. So again, thank you all for this opportunity and your support as we move forward this school year.
Thank you. And before we bring up secondary, I would also like to invite parents on March 13th, which is a Wednesday night. All 7 of the Glade schools will be having a parent data chat night where parents can come in and hear about the great things that their students are doing, get a closer look at the data, and see some of the work that kids have to do. And I know you hear us talking about school grades and student data, but let me tell you, that's a very important part of education. No matter if they're going to college or applying for a job, they're always going to take assessments to determine how well prepared they are. And so we're really, really working hard in our schools to make sure our kids are prepared to go to college or to go to trade school, whichever one interests them the most. So on Wednesday, March 13th, all 7 schools in the Glades will be having a parent data chat night, and more information will be coming from the schools. Thank you.
What time?
More information. We have to tighten it up. But it is March 13th on Wednesday night, most likely at 6 p.m., but we want to be specific and get all the flyers out to everyone. It'll be lots of fun, lots of demonstration that students will put on to show what they know, and teachers and administration will give you more information about what the new assessment entails. Thank you.
So we do have, thank you, Dr. McTeer. So we have Dr. Hibbler who wants to come up and say one quick thing. See how excited we are about being here tonight. So we're going to let him say that one quick thing, and then we're going to.
I apologize because I told Ms. Moore I don't need a minute out there in the parking lot, but I have to give recognition to my staff that's here. I apologize for that. I have my reading coach, Ms. Angeloni, and our math science coach, Ms. Nanny Dupuy. And I want to thank them for taking their time out of a long day to be with me this evening in this session. And the last thing I want to say is we are doing a food drive tomorrow at Canal Point. The food drive is for the Canal Point and Pahokee families. So please come out. It starts at 10 o'clock. Food truck will be there around approximately about that time. So it will be, again, at Canal Point. We do this monthly. It just started last month at my school. So please participate in that if you're a part of Canal Point in Pahokee.
What's the
Thank you.
location? The location?
It's at my school, Canal Point
Oh, Canal Point School.
Elementary, 37,000 Main Street. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hibbler, for sharing that information, and also thank you, Dr. McTier and Dr. Abrams, for sharing that information as well. And so we're going to ask our secondary principals to come forward, and I don't want to steal Mr. Denard's thunder, but I do feel like I need to say how, if you've been paying attention and you heard Dr. McTier talk about some of the expectations of our students, and those have been our expectations since we started almost 6 years ago. But one of the things I want to talk about is the graduation rates. And so as a Glades region, we've increased our graduation rates not only in the Pahokee area, but also in the Belglade area. Both schools are over 98%. With Pahokee being at 99%, and last year having a 100% graduation rate. And this is not something that happens just by chance. This requires us to really be intentional about the work that we're doing and improving outcomes for students, because we know that when students have a high school diploma, it opens the door for them for many more opportunities. And so if you look, when you pass by Pahokee Middle Senior High School, you look at their gate, you'll see the progression of their increases in graduation rates for over the last 5 years. And so with that being said, I'd like to introduce Mr. Denard, who's here tonight with his assistant principal, Dr. Golphin.
I'm not going to preach. All right, I'd like to thank everybody that's here, and also coming out so we get a chance to talk about what we do with our students. This year has been a challenging year for us, especially with our sixth graders, and we're trying to get them to understand how to get along with each other. But outside of that, our kids continue to do well, and we continue to fight on where we need to get at. Anybody gonna be upset right now will be Dr. Golphin, because she do not like the 99%, so I'm just letting you know. So she already said we're gonna get back on track to the 100%, because we do expect greatness out of all of our students. With that said, a lot of things that we got going on at the school is, Mr. Elliott Rose, you may be upset, and anybody that graduated from the school, you may be upset because you may not recognize the school once they finish all the construction at the school. For the $25 million that we was able to achieve from the school, we had to do a lot of fighting. Myself, Miss Andrews, and Miss Moore. But if you come to the school, you're gonna see a state-of-the-art media center. We done changed everything in the gym. No more of those old lockers that is all gone. They lifting up the floor, changing the floors. So whenever you guys come out to do the tour of the school, Mr. Lawson will guide us on everything, all the construction that's going on at the school. New windows, new everything. So we're really trying to upgrade our school, because our students have upgraded our academics. So we need to also make sure that they have the best. Last week, we also sent our Civil Air Patrol, which is only in their second year. They represented the state of Florida at MacDill Air Force Base. If you don't know what Civil Air Patrol is, what we do, we teach our students how to fly planes and also learn how to become air traffic controllers. Miss Andrews came out and worked on the simulator. We have 15 simulators that was donated to the school, and the airport over at Boca Raton really helped us out a lot. But we are the only in-school program in the state of Florida. So we're doing some wonderful things with that. The Civil Air Patrol will also recognize up in Seattle, Washington, as the best and fastest growing first-year program they have ever seen. For all these years, they've been having it for over 60 years. We did it so quick, and now we're already up there at the top for our Civil Air Patrol. And all the students, we do have middle school students and high school students in the program, and they're doing wonderful. From what Ms. Soto and Mr. Marcarato is doing, they really, really put their drive into it. But the most important thing, this week, this Saturday, if you guys don't know, we'll be in Winter Haven for the state championship in robotics. High school, for the first time, will now be what it's called FTC. It's different than what we're doing at the middle school. Middle school baby stuff. This is the big dog stuff. So they actually have to put all the wiring together, build the robot, program the robot. They have to do every single thing. It's just like if they was their own company. So we was able, in the region, there was 5 awards. We won 3 of the 5 awards out of 32 schools. And this Saturday, they'll be up there this weekend. I'm going up there to make sure they'll support our kids to go, and hopefully we can bring home the state championship in robotics. Thank you guys so much.
So I don't know about you, but I get so excited when I hear about all the great things that are happening in our region. And so with that, I know the last time we were here, there were a lot of questions about the West Tech program. And so tonight we do have Dr. Ford here, who's going to give you a little bit of information about West Tech.
One more thing for Dr. Doctor's gonna kill me. I already, that's my right hand. She's gonna kill me. Also, for 3 consecutive years, we are nationally ranked. We went from the top 10,000, now we're in the top 5,000, and we very close to the top 3,000 in America. Thank you.
And I'm just going to put some praise on Mr. Denard. As you all know, he was the principal of Palm Beach County School District, the principal of the year last year, coming right here from Pahokee.
Good evening. My name is Charlene Ford. I'm the principal of West Technical Education Center, where you learn to earn. West Tech is the bridge between high school and your 4-year college education. I have been at West Tech now for 6 years. I just counted this morning because the time is going by, but great things are happening at West Tech. For those of you that are unaware, West Tech services high school students as well as adults. So for our high school students, anyone in the school district of Palm Beach County can attend one of our 2 programs. We have the H.E. Hill Construction Academy, and we also have Mechatronics. Mechatronics is a combination of robotics and advanced manufacturing. We have capacity within our high school for 120 students. So we're always looking for students that are interested in learning more about construction as well as manufacturing and robotics. All of our students earn a variety of industry certifications during the 4-year period that they are able to attend West Tech. And both of our programs are articulated with various state colleges throughout the state of Florida. So not only are they prepared for the world of work when they graduate, they are also able to enter into post-secondary programs with college credits. So our high school programs at West Tech are true college and career-ready programs. Also, we have adult programming at West Tech. That's actually our largest population. Any given night where you drive by West Tech, there are at least 300 adult students on campus receiving training in anything from adult basic education, trying to improve their numeracy and literacy skills, earn a GED, master English, be it reading, writing, or speaking English, which ESOL is our largest population. But we also have trades programs. Not only do we have trades programs, but the trades programs are free of charge. They're free. You can learn a skill in plumbing, welding, carpentry, electrical, or HVAC, adults, free of charge. There's no entry requirement. There's no residency requirement. Students, adult students are enrolled first come, first serve. Every class can hold up to 25 students, with welding being able to accommodate 50 adult students every year. In addition to our pre-apprenticeship program, we have a medical program for adults. You can enroll and become a certified home health aide, a certified phlebotomist. We have reinstituted EKG tech, and the newest program that we intend to roll out in the fall is medical assisting. That's always been the vision for the program at West Tech, to have a medical program that has multiple entry and exit points so that someone can enroll, secure a skill, go get a job, and if they want to, come back and still receive credit for the program that they just completed. Those programs are not free of charge, but right now we have several scholarships, full scholarships. We award them first come, first serve, and at this point, we are very grateful that the money is abundant. I cannot stand up here every year and say that, but this year has been a blessing through the hard work of the commission and commissioners going up to Tallahassee and lobbying, and the Glades Career Readiness Roundtable, LORE. West Tech has been the benefactor of quite a bit of money this year for adult students to attend our school at no charge. We also offer forklift operator training. We have substitute training. There's always a need for substitutes in our schools, and anyone can enroll, well, not anyone. There's criteria to enroll to be a substitute, but attend that training at West Technical Education Center. So for those of you, the commissioners and the mayor, I did provide each of you with a packet that has information about West Tech, both the high school and the adult side. And for those in the audience, I did leave a few packets in the back. Oh my gosh, how did I forget CDL, our signature program that we worked so hard to get. So West Technical Education Center is the only CDL program within the school district of Palm Beach County. We do have a fleet of 6 vehicles. Right there, we are also a state-approved testing center. We have a wonderful simulator, but there's nothing like actually getting in the vehicle and driving. So the program is very unique to the school district of Palm Beach County, and hopefully we will be the only one in the school district of Palm Beach County. We have scholarship dollars for that as well, full scholarships for adult students to earn their CDL Class A. You can do everything from beginning to end at West Tech. You can do your entry-level driver training, which is required by the U.S. Department of Transportation, which we are approved through. I just renewed our certification this afternoon on that area. You also drive 1,000 miles in one of our vehicles, which is required by the state of Florida. And when you're finished with your program, you take your test at West Tech. And when you're successful, you walk over to the DMV and pick up your license. So that was a labor of love. It took 2 years to bring that program to West Tech, but it's there, it's available. Again, we have scholarship money for anyone that wants to attend any program at West Technical Education Center. So please pick up a packet and look through what we have to offer. Stop by West Tech. I love to give tours of the facility to show you where we've come from, where we are, and where we're going. So thank you so much, and remember, West Technical Education Center is where you learn to earn.
So just to close out, I hope you see that the improvements that we've made with our graduation rates, the improvement in our school grades, the number of principals of the year. We've had 2 assistant principals of the year for the district. All of that is because of the high expectations that all of you have set in this room. We're going to continue to work hard for our students. We're going to continue to work hard for our community because we're growing greatness in the Glades region because it's in our DNA. Thank you.
One more thing I want to say to the council as well as the community. When you elected me back in 2010, you said to me, we must open West Tech. It had been closed for 11 years. We've done it. We've gone to Tallahassee, all of you, and we've gotten the money to put the programs in place. Now we just need the students, the adults to go over there. There are scholarships available. They don't have to say they don't have employment. Employment means everything. And that's a promise I'm continually keeping for you to let you know we're going to make sure that we put the word out to everyone. But there is something for them to do. Not be on the street and say, I don't have a job. Come to West Tech. We'll take care of you. And that was a promise we made 16 years ago, and we're getting it done. And I want to say thank you to Ms. Mervin, who sits with us on the Tri-City Education Committee, as well as the mayor, but for all of the commissioners and the city manager. You are always welcome to come to the Glades Career Readiness Roundtable. My heart is blessed when I see Danya Roberts. Back there in 2010, I asked for someone to help me put together a monthly roundtable to keep the community involved about anything that had to do with education, our community, making us great in our schools and outside of our schools. She took up the lead to be the chair with me, and we have had the roundtable for almost the last 16 years, and it's virtual now because of the pandemic as well as in person. We want everybody to come back, but you all remember it was almost 50 to 60 people sometimes. It's every month on the second Tuesday at 10 a.m. And I know you're busy people. If you can't come, just be on virtual for us. We really appreciate you because we want you to know what's going on and you have a say-so. And lastly, I know we've taken up a lot of time, but when I look out in the audience, I just want some audience participation. If you don't want to stand, you don't have to stand. But if you are a parent, just stand or raise your hand of a student in Pahokee or Canal Point. If you are a grandparent, I want you to raise your hand. If you are an aunt or an uncle of a student in Pahokee or Canal Point, if you are someone from the community that works with a student from Canal Point or Pahokee, raise your hand. It's about all of us. Everyone has to take a role in making sure kids are successful, our students are successful. And certainly with the leadership here in Pahokee, I've loved you. You're the only city that gave me a key to the city. So you know, I love Pahokee. And I have my pen, Mayor Babb and commissioners, that say, I love Pahokee, and I've got my key, and my husband tells me every day, what's your favorite city in the Glades region? And I say, Pahokee! Thank you. Thank you.
Next up will be Lake Okeechobee Regional Economic Alliance of Palm Beach County, Laura, presented by Danya Roberts. Ms. Roberts.
Yes, good evening.
Good
Thank
evening.
you so much, Mr. Mayor,
Thank you.
Madam Vice Mayor, esteemed commissioners and staff and community. We appreciate so much to have the opportunity. We don't want to take a long time, but we vowed to you all that we would make ourselves present on a regular basis so that we could communicate back and forth to be able to see if there's anything that you need us to help advocate on, and we want to let you know what we've been working on. And we think that this partnership and relationship with the city is vitally important to our area for growth and adding value, and also to make sure that we can remain sustainable with the Business Development Board of Palm Beach County. Your city manager has a seat at our table, and that's so that we can have communication back and forth, and it's imperative that we have your input so that we know how to advocate and help for you. So I'm going to ask these folks to introduce themselves. I know you know everybody, but I just want to say, Marcia, thank you. We couldn't have a better partner, and Charlene sits on the board also, so she wears many hats as president of West Tech. But really and truly, back in the day, we know that West Tech was a hub, and then it went dormant for a long time. And one of the things that we believe that Laura has helped and added value to this community is to help get West Tech back open. And not only is it open, it is vibrant. And that is because of the leadership of Dr. Ford, and also, we stay on the superintendents like this. We make sure, that we're getting the dollars that we need out here, and that our students receive the same type of, as best we can, services and amenities that they do on the other side of 20 Mile Bend. And we will continue to do that. That is our promise to you. So with that, I'm going to ask these guys to say hello real quickly, because it's a partnership. We work with the Ministerial Association. Reverend Reese is going to speak to you just for a minute, and Career Source. And we could not do what we do if we did not have partnerships and everybody at the table, so that we're not duplicating services. So with that, I'll just ask them to say hello. And again, we appreciate the partnership. We think Pahokee is important to this region, and we want to continue to support you.
Again, Mayor and Commissioners, again, we just thank you for all the support that you give to Laura your investment into Lower brought Business Development Board out here to do a fantastic job of recruiting, and we want to continue that work. And so we are asking for your continued support so that we can continue to bring jobs and businesses to this community. Again, thank you for all your support.
Good evening, board. Good evening to the community, commissioners, Mayor Babb, City Manager Lucas, and everyone else. My name is Charles Duvall. I also work with Career Source Palm Beach County, but I'm also a member of LOR. And I want to thank you for your support that you've given to LOR. And again, we ask for your continued support. We want you all to understand the progress that has been made because of LOR and others in our efforts to drive economic growth in our community. Over the past 10 years or so, we have steadily seen the unemployment rate in the Glades region, including Pahokee, come down. We've also been able to tout some major wins, including the establishment of FinFrock. Laura was instrumental in bringing them here, and now we have a manufacturing facility in Belglade that has hired more than 100 people, and really a rising tide lifts all boats. That means there's jobs for people in Pahokee, there's jobs for people in South Bay. And a lot of these efforts would not be possible without the support of our community, Pahokee, and the rest of the Glades region. So we thank you for your support. We ask your continued support, and you see that it's very, very important that we're able to continue the work that we've done so that we can keep unemployment going in the right direction, which is down. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Mr. Eddie Rhodes. I guess a few people here might know me, but I'm a member of the Lower Board. And one of the great things why I'm a member is because what we're doing, in case you guys don't know, we're about bringing businesses into our community, new businesses into our community. And this is all that we do. This is our major job, what we do. We open West Tech because we needed something. Businesses are coming to our area. They're hiring people from out our area, coming in, making the money, taking the money back to the areas. So we're opening West Tech so that we can train those people. So when the businesses do come here, they got to hire local, and the money stay local. So what we need to do to make sure that those people come and they do hire local. And so the only bad thing, and people are complaining, oh, they don't hire local, they don't hire that. They don't hire local because the people are not trained. When businesses come in, they want people that's trained to do the work that they can do. And this is one thing that you see that Lower is doing, and you'll find now that the businesses are coming here, most of those businesses are hiring local when people are qualified. But they do need people qualified to be trained. And most things at West Tech now is free. It's not going to happen always. But right now, we got scholarship, they brought in money that people can get. Anything that you want out there, everything is free, especially CDL, which is the biggie right now, because people are trying to get the CDL so they can work. So just bear with us, and we thank Pahokee. They started us off with $5,000 when we first started. Went to South Bay last week, they gave us $5,000, Belglade, so we're just here and ask you guys for helping us, your support. Then we can support you. Thank you.
And again, just briefly, yes, please continue to offer your support to LOR. From the perspective of West Tech, it has afforded me the opportunity to actually have face-to-face with BDB to talk about the great things that are happening at West Tech and the vision, continued vision for West Tech, so that when they are out looking for industry, they are able to say there is a training center there. As you probably know, that was instrumental in FinFroc's decision. They still talk about it to this day, the proximity of their particular facility in relationship to West Tech. And through the LOR and the BDB and many others, that was able to be facilitated. So thank you so much for your support of LOR, West Tech, and we look forward to your continued support.
And in closing, I would just say we do need financial support. That's not really the ask tonight, but so that you understand and know, the private industry is a member of our LOR group as well, and they are contributing financially so that we can remain sustainable and continue to do the work we do. And again, lastly, The relationship that we now have with the Business Development Board of Palm Beach County, which are some heavy hitters over there. Keith Wedgeworth sits on the board as well as I. And a lot of the meetings are now focused on development and what's happening and what will happen out in the Glades, and that's very exciting. So with that, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Final presentation is our first quarter financial report for fiscal year 23-24. So it'll be from October, November, December. And Ms. Val, if you can pull up the PowerPoint. I've passed out the report for you and the PowerPoint itself so we can follow along. All right, first quarter. So summary of the first quarter, 25% of the year has elapsed, unaudited data as of December 30th, 2023. Val, are you able to? Mayor, do I have to listen to this? You're gonna call me a fool?
You're out of order. If you continue to talk, we're gonna have to ask you to leave.
When was I talking?
You've been talking since you've been here.
Don't tell that lie, Keith.
Okay, I'm just asking you. I'm just asking you. No, you've been talking.
You
Mr.
must be didn't hear me because he the one telling you to talk.
Okay.
Where's that document
You have it right there. That's the PowerPoint, yes. And then there's a, Commissioner, there's also the, yes. That's the backup supporting. So, just going through the slides here. I'm at the one for cash management. Just going through everything. Our total cash was $1,771,524. With our restricted funds, we're at $1,413,464. And as you see down below, comments regarding, on next slide.
That's not the right slide they're putting in up there. That's not the cash management. It's the one with all the banks. That's the cash management.
Yes, thank you, Val. That's the correct one. So next slide. Val, are you on this one? Not this one.
Is there any reason why we got this today?
It's backup.
We should have had the backup when we got the agenda.
You, ready? Okay. We'll move forward. so you guys can follow along with me. So slide page 2, number 4, talks about the general fund financial summary report and the expenditures by percentage of budget. Taxes 42%.
Where are you reading from?
Slide, so page 2,
Page 2 of what you gave us today?
yes. Not that one. This PowerPoint.
Where is that
It's
one?
also in your,
Yeah, it's just 4 here. I think this one there. No, okay.
okay, so let's just follow along in our agenda packet then. All right, so looking at page 4, it just breaks down what's the percentage of the budget. So 42% of the budget has been taxes. This is revenues. Our revenues are 42%, 49% of permit and fees, 1% of intergovernmental, fines and forfeitures, 41%, and then charges for service revenue, 17%, and miscellaneous revenues of 21%. Next slide, well, you can't do this slide. Next, looking at page 8, at our general fund and the breakdown. So you have the adopted budget of $1,649,065.
Page 8. Which page 8? The big number, the page on the bottom of the page?
The little number.
The general fund?
Yes, ma'am. And it says 5 on that little slide corner, right above the 8. And this is just a breakdown of the revenues and the sources. Total revenues is $5,570,676, and it makes up 28% of the budget. And then right above it, page 6, that shows the graph of the percentages of what makes up the revenue. Next one, page 10, it breaks down the expenditures, the quarterly expenditures, and for example, commissions budget is $203,297. Actual budget is $42,022 for actual, and that's 20% of the budget. And just going down it, total expenditures is $5,570,676. Actual spent to date in expenditures, $1,272,809. That's 23% of the budget. Next, right above it, it breaks down all the sources and special revenues on the page 8 of the slide. Next page, the squares 12, is ARPA. These are the breakdowns of funding. So we actually set year-to-date $2,253,326 of the budget. We've expended actual year-to-date for ARPA of $1,460,122. And just up on the capital funds, we have adopted budget of $1.2 million, and we've actually spent $353,250. And then on the final page 14, just shows the enterprise funds and what's been budgeted and what's been spent to date.
Now, could we have somebody explain and answer some of the questions?
You have questions? Mr. Martin?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Mayor,
Mr. Martin.
Mayor, Commissioner.
Good evening.
Everyone.
Okay, so this is the first quarter of 23, 24,
Correct.
covering from October 1st, 23
To December 23.
December 31st. Okay, on the cash management, it says overall, the sanctions imposed by jet lag impacted the cash balance. How much is the jet lag holding?
Well, it was over $5 million, but they did release some of it recently.
How much?
It was over 5 million
was-
for what? What?
It was the share revenue and the absence tax.
And how much did they release?
Recently, about the total was 223,000, some.
So out of the over 5 million,
5 million, yeah,
they released 223,000?
correct. I'm not sure if it's 220 exactly, but it's in the 220. It's 220 something.
Okay, so
It's
the,
5 checks that add to that amount.
so the 5 millions it's held because we're behind on the audits.
Correct. That's a sanction.
And
Some
then,
of it we will lose. Some of that money will not be given to us, to the city. It will not be
so,
given.
so how do we know the money that's not gonna be released and why?
Well, because of the sanction.
Yeah, but how do they figure,
That I don't know.
so we don't know how much money they're gonna release?
I don't know that.
Okay. It says that the general fund disbursement for the first quarter exceeded the general fund receipts by 154,600, and that's including fund transfers. And it says that the current fund balance being used to cover the city's operations is 0.
Right. We haven't used any of the fund balance as of now, as of today. However, for that month, within the bank statement, we spent more money than we received.
Okay, so what balance do we have if we overexpended?
Well, we have a cash flow issue because of the sanctions. That's definite. That's a given.
Okay, so on the general fund, financial summary, on the taxes, it says that we've already, used like, that compiles 42% of the budget. 68% is ad valorem taxes received, local options, communication, water utility, electric, propane utility taxes. And these are mostly state revenues and franchise agreements. Are those the ones that are being held?
Those that are being held is states, it's the state is the share revenue, the state revenue and the 1/2 cents tax.
So the 1/2 cent tax are being held too?
Yes.
Okay, and then the permits, fees, and licenses, that makes up 49%. And it says that approximately 26% is business tax receipts revenue.
Right.
And they're receiving the first quarter. So So out of that, we got about 23% remaining for the remainder of the year, for the last 3 quarters.
Well, as you can see, with the license and permit, it was supposed to be marked at 25%. We exceeded that 25%. We received more than we anticipated. We would almost double, which is favorable on the license and permit. The one concern is the intergovernmental, which is 1%, which is way below the 25% target.
So that's only 1% of
The budget.
What's so this has to do with state revenue sharing, taxes and grant revenues. So that's only 1% of the
budget. Mm-hmm.
So how can the $5 million be the cause of our financial crisis?
It's not only the 5 million. It's the 5 million plus you have FDOT and FDEP holding money for work being performed that has not been reimbursed to the city.
But it hasn't been paid either.
Correct. Hasn't been reimbursed.
So to help you, Commissioner Perez, so what the information that we didn't put as supporting documentation is the laundry list of all the things going back to April of 2023 that was held that we've already paid. We're waiting for it to be issued and come back to us. And we, to date, have received about $250,000 of the monies, but there's a tracking of the invoices. So we don't have a problem giving that to the commissioners and showing what's going on.
That money that you're getting is for the capital projects, is for the grants.
Right,
So
and those
if
are
you haven't
reimbursable.
paid it and you haven't, you billed it, but you haven't paid it, it's just the same as, it should not have anything to do with.
No, it's.
But you did pay it.
The work
We paid
the
first.
work is done. The city pays, but
It's reimbursed, we didn't get our reimbursement.
they haven't reimbursed
They're
the
holding
city.
our reimbursement.
So we're just waiting for reimbursement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a question here on, you have the marina and campground. So I could understand this. It says that the adopted budget was 386,099, but year-to-date actual on the revenues is 41.
Right. That's what those are the cash that are received for the year to date, as of December.
Okay, so that was for a whole quarter.
Correct.
So if you multiply that times, just based on this and the expenses that you had the first quarter, you were in the minus 58,265.
Correct, but that's where the general fund will have to support, when we receive money, we'll have to support the marina, and because the issue is both the marina and the cemetery are running at a deficit. It's been years like that.
My thing is, the last audit we got is 2021.
Correct.
So we got 21, 22, 22, 23, and then we're doing 23, 24, but we don't have any actual balances actually, because
Well, the audit that's done is 21. We will be doing 22, 21, 22. They haven't started yet.
But you don't have ending balances, so how do you keep on?
Well, it's not like we don't have balance. We have balances that are not audited, but we do have balances.
Yeah, but they're not audited.
Right.
And then every time we get audited, there's deficiencies in it.
It's recommended to be timely with the audit, so we don't be running into those issues.
Well, we've been late in the audits from,
That's
what,
some-
15?
That's something.
Maybe earlier than that?
That's something we need to address, because otherwise, every year you're gonna be losing money.
And that's due to what?
Due to sanction not being timely with the audit, and all the funds that were promised will not be given.
Yeah, that's the cost of it. That's the result of it. But what's the cause of us not being timed with the audit?
Well, it hasn't cost us yet.
I
But
would
I'm
like
asking-
somebody
I'm asking
that knows in the finance department. I know you're probably in there and
I'm
you know
asking- no, I'm not-
the
I'm asking a
day-to-day
question.
operation of the city, but I'm asking the city manager.
I'm not talking to you, I'm asking a question.
But I
Do you
was
know the
talking,
question?
I was talking. Thank you. Mr. Lucas?
Ma'am. So, the pieces that are, what he says about shortcomings, we won't know until all the money starts coming in. We have a table that says, here's all the things that we paid out and we're pending reimbursable items. So we'll be done with that by the end of this week, and I'll provide those to the commissioners.
But
And
that
you'll be
wasn't
able,
my question. My question is, why do we continue to be 2 years behind on the audits?
well,
Well,
we're,
let
we're,
me-
we're
to answer
working
this-
towards that.
To
So
answer
we,
this, there was a turnover, a big turnover within the finance department in the city manager's office for sometimes. And that causes a backline.
We've been
So-
behind since
So I'm just addressing
2015.
what,
The last audit was conducted in 2017.
well,
So we got 18, 19, 21, 22, 23. So, you know,
well, the best thing to do is address it and move forward. Cure it and move forward. That's my only advice.
that's the reason why we contracted Susan, which to this day, you know, we don't, what's the contract? When did we hire her? What was she to do? How much did we pay her? Why are we still behind 2 years? If she was hired for that.
we, Mayor, is that okay, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I would say this, on this particular, item, what we need to is, confine our question to something that's pertaining to the actual data here that we have question about, but the entire process of being audited, we're not gonna be able to do it here. What we need to do in the future is have workshops, because we're gonna have questions that need to be addressed and need to be answered. But our purpose here is just to get an overview of this budget and to just ask questions that's pertaining to it, but we're going beyond and outside of that line, and we'll be here all night if we did that.
Okay.
I'm not saying the
so-
question's not important, but we just got to get a better
So here's
process.
the thing. Here's the thing, and here's my dilemma. Okay, we were given this what, Thursday, Friday, okay? we were given this. You got 5 pages and you got titles and you got numbers. Today I come here and I find the backup. Okay, so what educated question can I have when I don't have the backup? Should this not be presented to us prior than to coming here and voting or when we have workshops, it's ridiculous because they tell me at the workshop that's not the place to ask the questions, and then this is not the place to ask the questions. When we're in the workshop, it's the same thing. You go over everything and that's it. We don't get this prior to the time. We don't have, I have attended the county's workshop, and our workshop is like, I wouldn't even call it a workshop. Because seriously, each department should do their be at the meeting, and they should have their own packet, their own numbers. No department knows how much they have, what they have spent, how much they got left. It's.
Could I ask you something? Which city, went to that, does that? Maybe we can at least get some thought or ideas. I would like to probably
The
go
county,
sit
you
in.
could even watch it on TV. They have it. When they have a workshop, you could watch it. They have Channel 4, I think it is. You go to the county website.
Commissioner Perez, I do share information, for instance, with the clerk, with information on their budget. Whenever they need it, they need to know information out. I recently shared information with Ms. Warner relating to the commissioner's budget and her department budget. The budget is monitored, but I'm not sure.
The thing is, sir, that you have a commission, okay?
Yes.
We're supposed to approve the budget. We're supposed to know what the budget is for, what we start with, what we're budgeting for, how it's being expended, where it's being expended. We don't know any of this stuff. We don't even know how much money we got.
The information
That I just got for the last quarter. We're on the second quarter. I just got it today, right here tonight.
You know that we're going to several audits. We have
And it's beyond me why we have not hired a finance director for Chandler left, 3 years, and then he had a pseudo director for the 5 that he was there because she wasn't doing any accounting or anything to do with finance. Because when she came here, she couldn't answer any of the questions and she quit. And since then, we haven't fired one because, lo and behold, we cannot find anybody that's qualified. You were supposed to be the interim. I guess now you are the full director. Susan was supposed to have retired, but she was still in the office working on the audit for 2021. And I don't know if she's still there now. I've asked for her contract. I've asked how much she's getting paid. What was the terms? Nothing. So, how are we supposed to? I know that some do vote on the blind side, but how are we supposed to make an educational decision and vote when we don't know what it's in front of us? We don't have it. We don't have the information.
What are we voting on tonight, dealing with finance?
We're not, okay, well, right here, you're asking for $135,000 for a home improvement from the ARPA, and where is the paper from that part of the ARPA? How much money originally did we put in there? What have we actually given? Why does some of the people in the
Okay, but what I'm asking,
community
what
haven't
we're
had the work
discussing
done?
now is the first quarter financial report. ARPA is coming at some point in this agenda, but we're not on ARPA right now, so I'm asking you,
The ARPA
what are you
numbers are here.
expected to vote on tonight on the number 4, which is first quarter financial report? What are we gonna be voting on?
So because we're not voting on it, I cannot ask any
No,
questions.
you mentioned voting. You're saying you don't have the information, you just got it, and we're expecting to vote on it. I'm asking you, what are we voting on tonight? That it's just a financial report at this point. I'm not saying that the
we
question's
have
not
voted.
important.
We have voted.
In the past, you mean?
Yes, we have.
Okay, but
And you're getting the numbers now. That is my point, Keith.
okay.
But
Allow.
go ahead, sir. They don't seem to have any questions. They don't seem to want to know any information. They're you know, I'm the only one here that's, you know, out of line because I'm asking questions. So thank you for your time. You could have a seat.
I have a question.
Yes.
With the budget, did we just not complete, what budget did we just complete, 2020? and
2021.
I'm talking
Which
now.
budget, budget we talk about?
It was 2 years behind, we just completed one,
We,
and they're getting
The
ready to
audit.
start,
Well,
I mean, and they're
we
getting ready to start
finished
on.
2021. They're gonna start 21, 22.
And that's caught up, and it will be caught up to.
Well,
No, then you
the
got
thing is-
22,
Yeah, one more.
23. You're
There
still
is
2
a
years
deadline.
behind.
Can I
There-
please get the answers from the finance director?
There is an issue if we don't provide the audit report by March 31st. This is gonna be additional sanction.
Right,
And,
which was said when the auditor came.
right, so.
This is just a quarterly,
Right, this is a quarterly report based on, to monitor the budget for 23-24. This is monitoring the budget for fiscal year 23-24. That's the first quarter. Now, the audit report that are behind, basically, they're 2 years behind now.
excuse me, can you speak up? We can't hear you back
Yeah.
there.
Sorry. Yeah, the audit reports that are behind is 21, 22, and 22, 24. 22, 23. So the 2 years behind.
I just got, I remember they did, okay.
How many years?
2,
2 years
we
behind.
just finished 1.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That concludes our report.
Next on our agenda, we don't have any consent agenda items. We do have old business, discussion of existing activities of previously held events, if any. City manager.
What we have, I handed out was the city events schedule from,
Mayor Val, sorry, but you missed the citizen comment.
Oh, okay, you're right. We did delay our citizen comments, so at this time, we're gonna begin with our citizen comments. City clerk, at this time, do we have any citizen comments card completed?
Yes, sir. Miss Tammy Bussey.
Good evening.
Okay, those that may not know me,
My name is Tammy Harris Thomas Bussey, Pahokee born, raised, and graduated high school. I moved away from here because of my job, but my heart stayed here. I retired and I returned with my businesses. And I'm going through this so I can get to the point that I have. I have to just say that earlier, my heart was warmed by what I was hearing with the growth of housing and the schools. My heart was warm when I'm hearing those presentations, and I'm glad to hear that that's what, that's what we're headed for. And I'm just hoping that it does happen. 34 years in law enforcement myself, okay? And just hearing different things, going on and just, coming to the meetings and just watching what's going on. And sometimes, your heart just gets a little, feels a little awkward about it. But as I stand here, I know a lot of people talk about team tables, all that, those things like that. But as far as a team, I'm just putting it out there, that I stand here for the right team, for the positive team, for a team of growth. That's what I'm looking to see in our hometown. Like I said, I was born here, moved away close to my job, but now I'm back with my businesses, okay? And my businesses are, I have a life insurance business, okay? Financial services, it's Bussey Enterprises. Came home to Pahokee, where I pay my taxes and my fees to the city where I have my business. I'm the administrator of our son's funeral home. The name of the funeral home, just in case you all don't know because it has changed, is Tri-County Funeral Services right here in Pahokee. Okay, it was changed from Bussey and Brothers because my husband said he didn't want his name on a funeral home. So we changed the name to Tri-County, and we serve Tri-County and the local cities. And so here as a business owner, local property owner, I own property here as well. I have my businesses here, okay? And so in my process of having businesses here, Mayor, we been in the neighborhood, we grew up together all around each other. I want to give back to the community. We have plans, my husband and our staff, we have plans to give back to the community, to feed the hungry, to give out clothing, to have school supply giveaways. We want to give back to the community. That's what we're going to do. And sometimes you don't always agree, but we have to agree to disagree. Just because you associate with somebody or speak with someone doesn't mean that you always agree with the presentation, but you're just trying to learn and just trying to make things better for all of us. That's what I want to see. And so my point for saying the things about me having a business, Bussey Enterprises, administrator over Tri-County Funeral Home, my purpose of saying that is this. As I'm looking to give to the community, to grow and help our homeless and help the hungry and help those that may need different things, and you're only a blessing if you're a blessing to other people. That's the way I was raised, and that's the way my mom would want me to do, is that I didn't sponsor the event on Sunday that was held for former Commissioner Diane Walker, who's deceased. I didn't sponsor that event, but I was there because that was my sister. But what I have a question about is because I have a question now, sit down. I have a question, I didn't sponsor it. So I was just trying to find out, in my quest to do something in the future, what are the rules for using the park? While we were there, the kids, the older people couldn't use the bathroom. PBSO was called out on the event that we were doing for Commissioner Walker, who served this city, and she was deceased. I didn't have anything to do with it as far as planning it. So I'm asking for the things that I want to plan. If anyone can just answer, what is the rule for having something in the community at a public park? And why was the police called for an event to honor a commissioner, and then the kids were not allowed to use the restroom? They had to be taken to the marina. They had to be taken around the building. They had to be taken to the library. So can someone tell me, and I'll sit down, and my 3 minutes are up, I'll sit down and listen to your answer. Can someone tell me why that happened, that PBSO was called, I guess to ask us to leave?
Well, first we need to know who they was called by, who.
That's what I want to know.
Y'all.
When you say y'all who?
It's on recorded. That's what I want to know.
You have to have to my knowledge, we do have a system where if you use the park, if it's expected to be 50 people or more, you have to have a permit. And that's just to have the PBSO notified that there are going to be an event in this park, And if they get a call, then they have an idea of what that function is. I don't think any city commissioner or any staff, to my knowledge, called. I don't know who called, but they patrol the community. And if they see a gathering, you know, it's part of their job and responsibility to see what's going on in that particular item.
Tonight has been a peaceful meeting. I'm not trying to cause any havoc. But I was standing there, Mayor Babb, and the guy said, but did the others know you were here? Because we got a call from him.
Sure did.
And so if that, that was, what we heard. But either way, I'm just asking, for me as a business owner, one, to do things in the community, one, to give to the community. We're gonna be having school giveaways and different things coming up. And I just wanna know what the rule is for having an event in a public park, and also the bathrooms not being open at a public park. Is the bathrooms not supposed to be open during the public park and for someone to use?
I know we had in the past some vandalism in the bathroom, but a bathroom should, and we definitely encouraging our staff to make sure during the park time that those bathrooms are open. But I'm not sure what's transpired since that incident we had at the park. Mr. Lucas, you may want to just speak just briefly on it. Make sure that the public is aware if they have an event and expect to be 50 more people, they do have to come to City Hall and at least get a permit to have the event.
For my edification, being that I'm a business owner, is it someplace where I can read that? Is there an ordinance or something that I can,
Yeah, we should be able to, yes, absolutely. The city clerk will be able to research that and make sure you get a copy of that ordinance.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Lucas, we're waiting on you.
Well, the issue, I guess, was staff was not available Sunday. I did receive a call from Commissioner Gonzalez while I was away, and I called staff to see if they could assist, and they said they didn't know about it, and I guess they were out of range to come back at that moment. But I didn't call anybody to go do whatever.
It's a public park. You got
So
playgrounds.
one of the remedies that I spoke with Greg about on Monday was to reopen the splash pad to the public come spring break, and then from that point on, or if sooner, 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 5, we will open the restrooms at all the parks.
Is that a city ordinance?
Is what a city ordinance?
The
So
the
basically in the
public
parks,
bathroom hours.
so in the parks, the pavilions are things that are reserved. No one denies anybody to use our public parks. They're for everybody.
What
But
about
when
the
you have,
bathrooms?
pardon?
Bathrooms.
What about the bathrooms?
But we've sat here at this commission on many occasions and said that I'm trying to get staff to be able to open it now. We may have a little delay in getting it done by this weekend.
So then my suggestion is you close the park. If you cannot use the bathroom, close the park. How you gonna have a public park that you have playground for kids and there's no bathrooms? That's, you know.
So there's signage out there before you go. Now, all I'm saying is we need to have a better park ranger. We attempted to hire 2 other people. Unfortunately, things happened that we couldn't move forward with them, but we are moving forward with making sure they open 7 days a week.
Okay, so when Heather was a part-time code enforcer, she was a park ranger. As far as I understand, you have a part-time code enforcer. Why can't he do the same duties that Heather did?
So, that person is restricted on how many hours He's available, so I just have to look into it. We are looking into it to expedite making sure the park is open. And then whenever there's special events, when you call over City Hall, we'll make sure those services are provided and we have staff members there when it comes to a special event.
Okay. We have adopted the county ordinance when it comes to public parks, have we not?
I'm not sure of that because that's before my time, so.
Okay, it's cool, because when I searched it, that's what it said. And I called Palm Beach County, and they provide service in the parks from 6:30 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night.
Who provides?
Well, on their sign, because I went and took a picture of the sign say that the park is open from dusk to dawn. It doesn't say a time.
It does say time, I have it.
Well, even that's, but you just have to schedule somebody to clean it, because I know you don't want anybody vandalizing it and living in there. But if you have it open, just schedule time for someone to go clean it, to keep it clean, and then you all lock it up whenever, set to.
And that's what we're working on, ma'am.
My question is, that park's been there forever, and it just got vandalized recently.
City Clerk.
So there's a difference between the special events and just renting the pavilion. Just to break that down, if you're doing a special event, there's a total different process. You'll have to have PBSO, fire rescue. Certain people have to sign off on that. Now, if you're just renting the pavilion to have an event, you will, however, be required to have insurance, liability insurance. But you'll fill out the application, pay the application fee, and the price for that rental location, whether it's the pavilion or the gym, the cafeteria, or whatever locations they're renting at the city. So those are two different, those.
If my child have to use the restroom, I have to take them home and use the restroom. It's a public park.
Listen, ma'am, excuse me, I'm explaining the difference between, because there's studies saying a special event. This is not a special event that you just held at the park. It was just something that you should have done, a rental application for just the pavilion.
Okay.
Let me.
So you cannot have a gathering
can I speak?
with family and friends?
Can I
That's
speak?
called a special event?
Okay, I've been here since 2015. No disrespect. No, 2015. And I worked with Commissioner Walker personally. She knew every process. And when you guys rent any locations, you filled out the application. Even when she did the prom for her sister. So what I'm explaining is there's a different process. She did the process. There's a process to everything.
At this time, we're going to move on with the public comments. We wanted to give a brief explanation, and hopefully we tried to answer partially part of your question. So we don't want to move or stray too much off the agenda. City Clerk, at this time, do we have any additional public service or public comments cards completed?
Yes, sir. We have Mr. Robert Love.
2630 Gateway East, Green Acres Park. Not Pahokee. I've been here since 1956. I was born here. And when you go to talk about I'm finna pay to be on a public park where y'all ain't got nothing working, what's somebody gonna pay y'all for? When you go up there and then y'all gonna call the police on somebody, what somebody gonna pay y'all for? I heard everybody talking about what they come here to do for Pahokee, but y'all ain't gonna do nothing in Pahokee. And just like he said, Gonzalez, me and you was talking to the police when they came up. And the police say, you say I'm a commissioner. They done heard it 59 times on my live call. I play it on my live every night since the meeting. I play it on my live 59 times. Y'all done heard it, lying Lucas. You the one called. Cause when the man said, what the man said, Gonzalez, he say, I'm a commissioner. We doing this for Diane Walker. You can hear the officer say, Keith, well, do the other half know? What other half? Who the other half? Mervin, Boland, Keith, Lucas. That's the other half. And I think all y'all playing that. Because you know what, y'all sat here and tell that lie about y'all didn't know. When y'all did it on February 4th, I told you it was a bunch of BS. and we was gonna do it over. And been telling you ever since February the 4th. So don't sit up there with them damn lies like you done. Oh, I know. I didn't know. All y'all know. When they called you yesterday talking about the police, when you called the police, why you couldn't send somebody up there to get the restrooms open, Lucas?
I told you, I did call staff.
You a lie. You a lie. You two lies right now. You telling another lie. You ain't called nobody.
I'm getting tired of
We
you
was
telling
up
me
there
a
at
lie.
6 o'clock. You ain't called nobody. You could have came. You stay right down the road, you claim. I ain't talking about no clock. I'm talking about how stupid y'all look after that. Do you know how stupid the whole town know y'all look? Y'all calling the police. Y'all called the police on John Wilson after he got up here and told y'all that damn Barfield wasn't gonna be ready. You and Matt Mervin woke up the next morning and called that man boss up in Missouri. Y'all called his boss. Tried to get him fired. Mervin called him to my house. She disappointed in him. Did he tell you how disappointed he was with you and told you he wasn't gonna, you ain't got to never call his phone? Y'all need to start running around here playing them games. And just like Miss Buster saying right there, you tell her, Miss Mervin, that she needs to stay from around me and Miss McDonald. You don't know me, Miss McDonald, or Miss Buster. When you moved him, we was already him. You can't break up friends with me and him. Y'all need to stop trying to divide this town with the BS what y'all put it. Every time somebody do something, Lucas, you fired that lady right there because she be on live. Y'all so vengeful and full of it. Yeah, you. Everybody know what you do. Every time you do something, it come right back to me. Don't stand up here looking at me like you stupid. I come up to you, yeah, Miss Murray, we gonna be all right. You sure about how right you be? Y'all full of it, Keith. Y'all full of it. Y'all know it. I know Miss Weeks wasn't gonna be here tonight. Tell her I know she wasn't gonna be here.
You didn't finish your comments, Mr.
Yeah, and I'm ready to go.
Thank you.
Goddamn it, I'm finna go be on live for 2 more hours and talk about y'all that.
I know Buster ain't tell you. Hope they ain't tell you that.
Hello. Hope all y'all
In addition to
Miss Thelma Freeman,
That's right.
Miss Thelma Freeman.
Good afternoon, 38510 North 86th Street, Apartment 4, that's in Pahokee, Florida. My concerns is the bathroom. I spoke with Mr. Carlos, and they directed me to Greg William. So everything that we're saying so far about the bathrooms is correct, and I'm a witness to that Mr. Luca was on the phone because I was standing next door to Juan Gonzalez. I heard you. I heard you. I told Juan Gonzalez exactly what Greg William told me. PBSO said not to open the bathrooms. It hadn't been open for years because of the vandalism, the broken sinks, and all that costly for the city. So my question was, my granddaughter was the one that had to use the bathroom. And when Mr. Gonzalez made that call, I explained to him what Greg Williams said. It's protocols what you have to take. Mr. Carlos told me to go to Greg Williams, which is over Parks and Recs. I spoke to Mr. Greg Williams, and he said under no circumstances would those bathrooms be open. So the bathroom hasn't been open in over a year. I did go up there and talk to Mrs. Tia about getting the paperwork where PBSO said that the bathroom wasn't gonna be open because of all the vandalism. That part I never gotten. Mr. Carlos is my witness that I did come up there concerning about the bathrooms. Also with the library said with the splash pad being open that the kids can't backwards and forward out of the public library to use the bathroom because these parks bathrooms should be open. So everything that I'm saying now is nothing that hearsay. I have everything in black and white. These are the people that I'm naming now that told me this information. My question is, when I came up there to the city of Pahokee to get that paperwork where PBSO said that not to open the bathrooms, can I still have those paperworks? That was last year. I asked for those paperworks around September and October. I spoke to Mr. Carlos. Ms. Tia said she was gonna get them. I never did receive those paperwork, saying that PBSO said to keep the bathroom locks because of the vandalization. And like I said, and I repeat this over and over again, I was standing right next to Juan Gonzalez when he made that phone call to Mr. Lucas because he asked me for his number. I didn't give him his number. He went through his Rolodex through his phone and he made the call and I was standing right side him and I heard your voice. I'm standing right there next to him. I'm standing right next to him, Mr. Lucas. And my granddaughter had to use the bathroom. She was in a tight, she had to go to the bathroom. She's a young lady. I'm not gonna send her in the bushes. I'm not gonna send her around the corner. I'm not gonna send her on the side of the road to use the restroom. Those bathrooms should be open for the public. That is a public park. I don't understand why we can't have the bathrooms open. Even if they need to be repaired, they need to be repaired. That's what you got all this money for. Mr. Keefe, you said the upkeep of the city of Pahokee. When I asked about the resolution about the...
To be fair, I'm sorry, your time is up. I don't want to cut you off in the middle of it, but we have to be consistent.
That's it.
We don't have any consent agenda items. We'll move to our old business discussion of existing activities of previously held events, if any. Mr. Lucas.
As I was saying earlier, I passed out to each and every one of you on the diocese about the upcoming events. February 29th, we have the celebration of Black History and Culture for Big Business and Legacy Building for Monday, February 29th at the Marina Campground for 6:30. Then the rest you'll see here, March 21st. We're gonna have a town hall meeting. I Love Pahokee Day, April 13th. Great American Cleanup, April 20th. National Day of Prayer, May 2nd. June 19th, Juneteenth. And 4th on the Marina, July 4th, and then back to school bash. That's the previous stuff we have, Mayor.
Thank you. We don't have any public hearings or ordinances. We do have two resolutions. First resolution is Resolution 2024-05, City Attorney. Can you just read the title in the record for the record?
Yes, ma'am. 3A. Yeah.
Resolution A, Resolution 2024-2025, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding, MOU, LED lighting agreement with Florida Power and Light Company, FPL, and the Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT. Attached here to as Exhibit A, providing for adoption of representations, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation?
Yes, sir. This is a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between the City of Pahokee, Florida Power and Light, and Florida Department of Transportation for LED lights, lighting services for State Road 15, right at the railroad tracks from Anonia Street to State Road 700, Connors Highway, for the following projects. 3 installations of new poles with luminaries, 1 upgrade existing luminary to LED, removal of existing luminaries from existing poles, design, assume overhead underground wiring to be provided by Florida Power and Light. There's no impact to the budget. Staff recommends that we approve the FPNL LD lighting memorandum of agreement.
Thank you, City Manager. City Commission, having heard Resolution 2024-05, properly read into the minutes by our City Attorney, properly explained by our City Manager, what is your pleasure?
Mayor Bab, I move to accept Resolution 2024-05.
Second. It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez for the adoption of Resolution 2024-05. Call for questions.
Yeah, I have a question.
Commissioner Perez.
This is a state road. Both of them are state roads.
Yes, it's where that intersection comes together.
So what does the city got to do with it?
They're providing for lighting at that intersection. So what eventually will happen with all these projects is we'll have the bill of paying for the electricity to light them. But the construction and all that is shared between Florida Power and Light and the Department of Transportation in the state of Florida.
So why aren't we getting the lights like South Bay and Belglade? Why are we getting the wood pole with a light on top?
Well, then we would have to contribute to that. We asked that question last year before the project started, and they gave concessions to improve some of the lighting for us. So I would have to dig back into it, but we did move forward with your suggestion then, and we got some.
Columbus Highway.
Yeah, they worked with us.
That was over here. These are over there. This is a different area. If all we're doing is paying the bill, is that the same deal that they did with South Bay on US 27?
So South Bay did a beautification and got different poles, and I'll find out from Mr. Campbell and see what they did, but that wasn't, they went in their pocket to get those lightings.
I have a question.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Why didn't we go to our pocket? I mean, we're getting them updated. Why not do it? But we always have to stay getified.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. Maybe it's off topic or not, but it's in reference to the same thing in lighting. How is it possible to put Eastlake Village and Streamline and Barfield Highway on a list to get upgraded lights and more lights added on those streets? Because it gets pretty dark, and I've spoken with some citizens today, and there's been some things going on at night, and they're requesting to get more lighting. How is it possible? I know it's going to cost the city a little bit more money because it's more light, more electricity, but is there a way to figure out some grants or something at least to help them out as soon as possible? Because these are areas that are dark. I don't know if you drive around at night like I do, check things out, but they are pretty dark. And where the football field's at, there's no light.
Ms. Lucas on that.
Yeah, I was asking, where was it at?
The whole entire Eastlake, behind where Eastlake School used to be at, that trailer park, and Barfield Highway.
So when you go down South Lake and turn right onto McClure, right over there?
Yes. Yes. And Barfield Highway along the football field, where that's just that one school crossing with the light. There's no light out there. And on Streamline, I think they only have 2 lights. If I'm correct, I gotta go back out there and count them. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Any additional question in reference to the resolution? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Next, we have Resolution 2024-06, City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resolution 2024-06, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the city manager to reallocate additional funds for the ARPA home repair program for the benefit of qualified city residents, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, brief explanation.
Yes, sir. We're looking to reallocate more money to the ARPA minor home repair for an additional $135,000, which will complete out the list of applicants, the 27 applicants still in the system, and it would bring our total to $477,500. staff is recommending that we approve Resolution 2024-06.
Thank you, City Manager. City Commission, having heard Resolution 2024-06 properly read into the minutes by our city attorney, properly explained by our city manager, what is your pleasure?
Mayor Bear, move that we will accept resolution 2024-06.
I'll second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden for the adoption of Resolution 2024-06. Call for questions.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Bolden, go ahead, Bolden.
So this will conclude the home repair program?
Yes.
After this, there's no more, we're moving on from this?
Yes, and when we come back for the March 26th meeting, we'll do a workshop before the meeting on ARPA for the reallocation of the balances of things that we didn't finish out.
What was the balance on the home repair?
It was like, 1 second here.
And how many applicants have we helped?
So we got 375,905, and that's 79 residents that it's outreach to.
So we've already.
So it'd be a total of 106 when everything's said and done.
So we've already allocated money for 79 applicants
Yes.
at a total of 375,905. Okay,
So, but with the 27, it'll be 477,500.
Yes.
Question, Mayor. I have a question. Actually, some residents asked me about the ARPA money in reference to mobile homes. They want to know, and as well as I want to know, what disqualifies them to apply for ARPA when they have a mobile home. Because when we're in Tallahassee, I don't know which person it was, which city it was, but they told me they did hand out ARPA money to mobile homeowners. And why are we not allowed to do that? Yeah, because nobody with a mobile home here has received any ARPA money to fix their mobile homes. I want to know what disqualified them. Is it something that we set?
No, it was something in the guidelines. I don't think mobile homes is qualified.
Okay, is that by district or is this just something that
No,
they?
it's in the state guidelines.
Okay.
It's, I don't have it with me, but it.
But there is actual
It's in
documents.
there, it does say mobile.
Okay,
yeah, it
do you know how
does.
I can receive a copy of that? So I can show it to them?
I'll get it for you.
Okay.
It's already in the stuff that we
Yeah,
have
it's fine.
received.
Yeah.
The do's and don'ts of what you can use ARPA for.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's in,
that.
you can.
And one of the reasons mobile homes don't qualify is because they're not attached to the
Yeah,
land.
it's stationary.
Okay, what about module homes, which are mobile homes but classified
If
differently?
they have a foundation and they're attached, then that becomes a house.
Okay.
There's some hands of some.
I have a question. Okay, so, on another note, the $105,000 that we have to make in A&E on, March, where are we getting that money from? That's not budgeted.
Well, that'd be general fund.
We already don't have money in
So
the general
when
fund.
the money that's being reimbursed back goes back into the till of general fund.
When are you getting that money and how much money?
We get it constantly. I will supply to the whole commission where we at as far as accounts receivable, monies we put out first to receive back. And you'll see the breakdown by 2 agencies. You'll see it by Florida Department of Environmental Protection, which is East Lake Village Project. Then you'll see it by FDOT, which is projects like South Barfield.
Barfield.
There's another one out there. Then we're gonna start doing reimbursements on McClure and
DOT's only got one project.
I need to just caution.
DOT's only got one project.
I just need to caution us, we have a resolution with a first and a second, the question time, but we need to have our question related to the resolution in a question dealing with that. And then the others.
I like the next time that we get something like this, I would like to have the accountability of how much how much we started, how much we've paid, and itemize the people and what they got.
Okay. I think Commissioner Bowden had a question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, you know, while we're on the subject of ARPA, I have received a few phone calls, and I just wanted to know, like, have we taken care of our seniors with these funds? Because they're more than likely the ones that are the most at risk. I've gotten calls about their roof repairs, which some of them are significant. So is that something that we've done? And if not, so is that something that we kind of can look into? Because they're the ones that are really at risk. They don't have the finances to make those types of repairs. And I think even from the beginning, we should have kind of had that in mind.
So the seniors, that roofs are usually pretty expensive things, and the most the program allowed is $5,000. So that goes, basically that's probably like patchwork, or some gutters to redirect.
$5,000 is not a patchwork. You could get most of these houses done, our entire roof for $5,000.
So okay, so I understand that, and I know that you can't help everybody. We can't, you know, is there some type of way we could actually figure out how to help our seniors that do have these problems that they don't have the funds to actually repair beyond the 5,000 if it takes that? I know we tried to do 5,000 because we wanted to help as many people as possible, but I'm thinking about the people that are most at risk and who really don't have the finances to make certain types of repairs that go beyond $5,000.
Well, I can explore that and bring something back on the 26th, sir.
Okay. In additional question in reference to the resolution?
Well, in reference to the resolution, one of the requisitions was that they must have a vendor that's registered with the city, and a lot of the people use the same contractor. And I had a call from one of the residents that gave the contractor over $2,500 6 months ago, and no work has been done. So, first of all, I told her I don't understand why she paid him before the work was done. But she told me that Mr. Morris had been to her house.
Who's Mr. Morris?
Carl Morrison.
Oh, Morrison.
I have to get with Mr. Morrison and see what's going on. You're saying he did work, or he?
He has not done any work. He went by. I guess she qualified. I believe they gave her $2,500, which she paid the contractor, and the contractor is been over 6 months, and he hasn't even gone back to the house. He told her that he had other people before her.
So when we done, can I get the address from you?
If you tell me the name, he's What's the guy the contractor that was with Marina?
To be safe, is not to say the wrong name, that way we were held liable for defamation, so let's just.
Let's move.
Yeah, I'll come over and talk to you,
Yeah.
Commissioner Perez.
Hearing no additional question in regard to the resolution, we're gonna call for questions. We have done that. City manager, city clerk, call for roll.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
I reluctantly will say yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to new business. Presentation of the city manager of any activities of common events, if any. Basically, I think he covered those.
We did that, sir.
Next on the item is the report of the mayor. I'll be pretty brief. We recently had some various articles come out. I really don't like to speak about negative press, and I won't go and elaborate a whole lot, but it was dealing with the city of Pahokee being one of the worst cities in Palm Beach County to live in. I think it was at number 5. They even had, West Palm Beach on there and various other cities, but we were listed as number 5. There were 2 other reports similar to that that we was listed as number 1. Mainly they was focusing in on crime in the city, saying that that was a cause of our rating particularly. It was some other things that attributed to that. I did give Lieutenant Adams a copy of that so he can kind of search it. I'm supposing and guessing that even Paget Island and Friend Village, some of those unincorporated areas contributed to our count, yes, which shouldn't really be contributed to it because they're on the outside of the city limits. And that's just a guess. That's just an educated guess. But there are some things that hopefully we can do as residents and commissioners to kind of prove those reports a little wronger than what they may be. We need a PR campaign, and we do have 1 or 2 good promotional videos on our website. Is there for residents to play or review or see. I think over 200 sharing have been done on that particular video, but we need to have others. I think Laura came in here today and did a presentation. We need their help in doing some PR, helping our city being more promoted. We need our residents. I know we're in a situation, in a condition where there's a lot of complaints, and there's nothing wrong with being complainted. If you're not satisfied with what the city's doing, you have a right to complain. You have 3 minutes to come up here and speak your complaint or your piece, but after that, you need to be really more orderly. I'm just asking, just as a mayor and elected official, that we need to be able to agree to be disagreeable, but in a respectful, orderly manner, and that's not occurring. We went as far as just to talk about the possibility of maybe discontinuing live stream. That didn't go over well, and I understand that too, because it's a mixed subject. Some people favor it, some people don't. So we have the right to decide whether we favor that or not. That's not the real root cause. The root cause is maybe what's causing the dissatisfaction among our residents. We had 1 guest speaker that spoke about the relationship and the disagreement that we're doing, and how that was hurting potential investors from coming into our area. We need to consider that. But for all means, you do need to speak your piece in a peaceful and orderly manner. And we got to find ways to do it. And what I'm doing, if I get anything positive, I try to share it on Facebook. I know Facebook is a social media platform that there's a lot of criticism and a lot of negativity out there. But I'm asking our commission too, that if you see us doing anything positive, and not saying that we can't get up here and be dissatisfied for what we're doing too, but when we do things right, let's share it in a more positive light, so at least the audience that's outside of us can see that we're not in total disarray and total disagreement. So I just wanted just to share that with you.
Could I ask you a question? I mean, did you ask them where the majority of the crime coming from? Because from what I know, it's a lot with our youth.
Yes, it
Racing
is.
cars,
Right,
you know,
right.
stuff
Yes,
like that.
That is true.
But it just goes to say this right here is the reason that we open up that gym, that we work hard to get it open before it can be open to our teenage kids at 13, 14 years old to have somewhere to go. But you can't go if it's closed. It's closed on the weekend.
Right.
It closed, you know, after the little kids get through at night. So those kids just running around, vandalizing cars and breaking in people's houses, doing stuff because they have no other place to go burn that extra energy off. They're not involved at the school in sports or activities. Then they run around here doing all other kind of stuff. They don't have nowhere else to go. They just go hang out. I pass by, I see them on the back of people's houses just sitting there, just ready to just go do something. And I'm knowing that's where they're getting a lot of the calls from, is dealing with those kids. And all those kids is it's like 9th, 10th grade, whatever. They get to that age group where they just they don't fit in. They're not athletic, they're not smart, so they just don't have no other way to bring them in.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely want to try to provide more services for that category, even the night basketball games and tournament like that. Right.
And on weekends. And
Yeah. Hopefully.
So now the police got to chase them on.
Yeah, hopefully when we do that town hall meeting, which will be part of the recreation activities of our community, we can incorporate some of those thoughts and ideas in that. But again, we can, even homicide, it don't take, because of the size of our city, we're not that large. So 1 or 2, maybe possibly 3 homicides will make our stats go real high based on population. So it don't take a whole lot to make that movement either way, one way or the other.
Mayor, when you asked about new business, I forgot to bring down the cancellation of March 12th commission meeting because we'll be attending the national conference.
You already said that? I wrote it down.
We're just gonna vote.
Yeah, we got
we'll
to
put it
vote.
over top. Okay, that's conclude my report, and we'll go ahead and address that since it's just fresh on our mind. I'll make a motion to cancel our March 12th, 2024 City Commission meeting.
Second. I'll second.
Okay. It has been moved and moved by the mayor, second by Commissioner Gonzalez for the cancellation of the March 12th City Commission meeting. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to the report of the city manager.
Thank you, sir. Just right off the bat, upcoming, we did cancel the meeting. Also, we would like to reopen the splash pad to the public during Pahokee High School's spring break. Also, open all parks and restrooms from 11 to 5 p.m. every day. So we're looking at that, and I'll try to get it expedited as quick as possible. Then ARPA update, I didn't put the total of what we started with, which is like the 3.1 million, but you do have what we spent to date, Commissioner Perez, in the 1,685,148.26. So that's right there, you see. And then the Everglades Townhome, the 60-unit update, they're still pending a Palm Beach County permit to shut off water and cut lines. They anticipate starting by the end of this week in constructing the units. One North Lake has 40 units in progress. well, that they have been approved for, but they're in the process of wanting to increase their project by 14 units. The issue is going to be parking, and we are in discussions with them on this matter. Next page, we're closing out H. Kelly Marine on the docks D, E, and F. We're going through punch list, and hopefully in the next 2 weeks we have them closed out and paid in full. We also were told in dock B, we got a little alligator situation, but where the dock slumps at, we need to remove that finger, and we have wildlife coming in to help us with that. Capital improvements. So I have a separate attachment that just goes on regarding Phase 4 resurfacing project. The bid will be going out for this advertisement this Friday, March 1st, and it's going to go through our Community and Economic Development Department, and that's for the streets of East 5th Street, MLK, West 5th Street, West 3rd Street, West 2nd Street. And then MLK Park Improvement Project is going to bid March 10th, 2024 from Community and Economic Development as well. McClure Reconstruction Project is in a design phase. The engineer of record is WGI, and they're working with Palm Beach County Water Utilities for the design of this, and we are a few months out to get started on that project. And then on the NEAT grants, ordering installation of trash can receptacles, we have a reimbursable grant for $10,000. We will start in next month, March, to start getting that done. We're going to be ordering benches with a NEAT grant for $10,000 reimbursable grant as well in March. And that pretty much concludes the capital improvement projects. Just a reminder, tomorrow, Palm Beach County League of Cities lunch is from 12 to 1, Village of Wellington Community Center at 12150 Forest Hills Boulevard. Also, just outstanding items is still ongoing investigation with OIG for forensic audit. We're pending at some point in the next couple of weeks a draft from them. HCT will be starting the fiscal year 2021-22 audit at the end of this week. And then on February 29th, we have an entrance meeting with the Auditor General to get started on their audit. And then just events coming up, the Black Symposium or the event for February 29th be at 6:30 in the Marina Conference Room. And then National League of Cities is March 11th through the 13th for Congressional City Conference. That concludes my city manager report.
Next, we have the report of the city attorney, if any.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report this evening from the city attorney.
Next item is future agenda items of commission, if any.
I think at some point we need to start having a discussion about the residential and commercial landlords. We need to start kind of tightening things up and holding people accountable. I have been contacted by several rentees, whatnot, who are, and I don't know if we need to also have someone present to inform them of what their rights are. But I think it will definitely have we would definitely at some point need to discuss an ordinance that holds landlords accountable, whether they're renting residential or commercial, in terms of beautification, in terms of other things that our citizens express their grievances about.
Okay. Yeah, in addition to that, maybe the clerk can look up. We do have one or two ordinances. We just recently passed in the last 5 or 6 years, dealt with a lot of those issues. I don't know if we may need to have a better job in enforcing them, because we had where the landlord or tenant had, the landlord, I meant, had to paint their building after so many years, especially if the paint was chipping. They had to have proper parking, paved parking. Even the little apartment down from my mom on 4th Street had a lot of renovation done because of that particular ordinance. But we do need to look at that, add some more if it need to, or make sure that our code is being enforced in reference to that.
And that may include them registering with the city, which could be revenue generating as well. If certain things are not upheld, also through fines or whatnot as well. I think it's a win-win-win. We can keep our city beautiful, and if we have people that won't comply, it can be revenue generating. I think it's a win-win for everyone.
And don't forget that it all starts practicing what you preach. The city needs to start taking care of the slums that are around the city and cutting the grass and maintaining the sidewalks and things like that. So we need to start by starting in the house.
So going back to the future agenda item, Commissioner Bolden, if that's a motion, I would definitely second that. I want to just add, we need to include, and we're talking about structure too, a lot of complaints about the buildings that need to be torn down. Where are we in that process, and what the procedure of doing it and getting it done? The building by the bank, for instance, and 2 down on South Lake, the old restaurant. Those buildings are leaning and about to fall themselves, but we need to make sure that we're addressing that and not just sitting and hoping that that problem go away by the owner, which if we don't enforce it, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the same thing for me, Mayor. I agree with you on that. There's a house on Bacon Point Road, as you're aware of. Before you get to your house, it's right next to a blue house that's already fallen down. And the people who live in the blue house have children. And they recently lost their father. So, the kids are basically there with their mother, and, it's very dangerous for the kids to be around that house, since it's like literally like maybe 12 feet away from the doorstep, 15 feet for the most. It's already crumbling down. I sent pictures to Mr. Lucas sometime last year. I know he said he put it on the list to do research to knock it down and have it cleaned out. So I don't know how far we are into that. If I can get some confirmation from the city manager, so I can let them know. So some kind of good news that it's going to be resolved. Because as you can see, there's also electrical wires all tangled within the house and the vines to the.
Yes, sir.
So in other words, we need to adopt a blight program for our city. I don't think we would have to reinvent the wheel at all. There are quite a few out there that we can, adopt for our city as well. So I think in addition to, we need to have a city blight program.
So that's
so I'm a little confused on what his motion was. What is your motion, Commissioner Bolden?
He said discussion, but now he's adding blight in there. So what we're planning on doing is at our next commission meeting, very shortly after, is to have these items for discussion. And Mr. Luca put it on the agenda. Maybe already have a blight program addressed so we can look at it.
Yes, sir. I can send all 3 of the ordinances to you. We have 3 ordinances already created in reference to what you just discussed, Mr. Bolden, Commissioner Bolden.
What's a black program? What is
Blight.
Yeah, that's it was.
When we talk about dilapidated buildings, which everybody complains about, I think we need to execute measures to remedy those issues as soon as possible, whether it be
hazardous buildings. Hazardous buildings.
Right, eyesores in the community, things like that, or whatever. Everything that pretty much makes our community look horrible. We need to start making some moves. on it. So if we already have ordinances in place, we definitely need to discuss best practices for executing, fines if we need to, and applying pressure where we need to. But do we have the one for, commercial and residential?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
I'm
we need to
emailing them to
discuss-
you guys now.
Okay, so we need to discuss effective ways of executing those ordinances.
Just so it be part of the agenda for future agenda item, we're gonna go ahead and vote on that. We have a motion and a second to include those items as part of our discussion at one of our upcoming agendas.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Any other commission have any suggestion for future agenda items? I have one I would like to see us at least consider, and that's just rearranging our agenda just slightly, that we have two periods where a citizen can comment. One would be at the beginning of the agenda where it's at now, but it would be only on agenda items. The second one down to the end where it used to be citizen comment, they can discuss other issues and other concerns. We need to make sure that we're just sharing with our community that you can bring any issue up here for your 3 minutes. We don't have a problem with that, but we want you and we encourage you to speak with either your elected officials and tell them about the problem so they can put it on part of their agenda and discussion, and our city manager who has an open door policy to speak with its residents. What we're doing here, we're stagnating our commission meeting about talking about everything other than what's on the agenda. We need to take care of that first, then move to other areas. And that's just a suggestion. If the commission don't think that's a good way to keep our agenda flowing, then I don't have a problem with keeping it the same, but I think that would help. Most commission have areas where you're gonna talk about agenda items only, and then the others, comments will follow.
I agree. Mayor, can I speak on that in addition
Yes,
to?
yes.
I really like the fact that our presenters were able to come in and do what they needed to do before the citizens' comments. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but oftentimes they have to sit there and go through a lot just to be able to present. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think that was actually a good thing done today.
Yeah. So in part of the arrangement of the agenda, we do at least put it on discussion. We can at least talk about that. That arrangement could be where the presenters would present prior to public comments. 'Cause a lot of them present and they leave, and that way you don't hear all the, the negativity that sometimes come out before they have their presentation. 'Cause some of them are investors, some of them are stakeholders, and they're very important to have and see at least a consensus of our community agreeing on things. So on the future agenda item, we're just asking that be at least a part of the discussion that we can have, maybe a rearrangement of the agenda on those areas presenting.
I thought we always did that. I thought we always changed it if we felt it was more important. I thought we always changed it like based on.
Right, we can, but it have to be voted on. But I'm saying if we do it consistently, have the presenters go prior to public comment, or have the public comments be on agenda items only, the first portion of it.
Right.
And then, so we'll have that as a part of our regular agenda if the commission as a whole or majority agree on it.
Basically rearrange instead of going by based on the presentation, just
Right.
make it permanent.
Right, right.
Okay, I got
And
you.
that's just for discussion. It's not something that I'm asking us to vote on
Okay.
tonight, but at least put it as
I'm
a
good with that.
discussed item.
I'm good with that.
So we do have a second and a motion on that to add that to future agenda items, the arrangement or the rearrangement of the agenda. And we'll take a vote on it.
Mayor Bab?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Thank you, Commission. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Any other items, consideration? Thank you. Now we move to Commissioner comments for the good of the order. And we'll start with our Vice Mayor first this time.
Just real short, Mayor. With the discussion tonight came up with the bathrooms. With the bathroom issue, I agree, if there's a time, I know most parks, most anywhere, parks are open usually from, I think, sun up to sunset, or either they've set the time. And I think bathrooms of parks should be open of those times, because that's park hours. Now, getting to what Ms. Bussey was saying about events, when the park is open for you to take your kids or whatever you do, play in the park, that's fine. But when you have an organized event, that's when you call that city and you reserve that part that you're renting, because you're going to have a big event or whatever, family reunion, celebration, whatever you have. You reserve, especially you're reserving using the tables, what you call it, things? Pavilions. You reserve those. So and that paper only protects the person that's renting the facility. That alerts the PBSO, that alerts the fire, that alerts your Parks and Rec, that alerts your code. So if anything was to happen or anything running, that those people are aware. But as far as the bathrooms, I think bathrooms should be open to parks. That's just a given. Because I know the parks are open usually from 7 to 7, or whenever the time changes, 7 to 5. I think the bathrooms should be, because some people just stop by sometime, exercise and go in the bathroom and use the bathroom. So I think that should be a given. I don't think no one should have to struggle to try to go to a bathroom if they're out there playing at the park with their kids. I think bathrooms should be open, and if we don't have enough staff to monitor them, maybe we should have enough staff to monitor bathrooms every so often, every hour, maybe like it's park ranger or whomever. Park ranger, that's what we need, a park ranger, that's what they do. They go to each park and they would monitor the bathrooms, monitor your parks. But as far as no one having access to bathrooms in the park, that's just not called for to me. So that's all I have to say. But as far as getting organized events that we do, just go by the process of renting the facility, renting whatever you want, the part you want to use, and.
Ms. Murray, that's your question. Do Commissioner Paul have provision?
Pavilion, yes, they do. That's the part they use that. They call that, the pavilion part, they call where concession stand.
They got the 4 tables.
That's what they use, that's what they call that.
That's not a pavilion.
But,
I mean, if you go to, I'm not.
But anyway, wherever the parks are, but I'm saying that's what they.
Jason, if you go to the county, only time you need to rent one when you use a pavilion, just to go out there, you don't need a permit, you don't need all that. I'm just saying, at Martin Luther King Park, if you gonna use that big pavilion, yeah, you need a permit. I understand that, but if you just went out there just to hang out, then.
That's what I said.
No, I'm not saying you didn't say that. I'm just saying that way, because you're kind of confusing people about they need a permit. You don't need a permit unless you got over 50 people anyway. But here's the thing: if it don't have a pavilion out there, so that's not a park. That's just a playground where people play basketball, splash pad, kids go swing.
Let me get back to the commission. The commission parks, they call that a pavilion where the tables, because it does have covering. Those are covered, 4 of them. 4 coverings. They have a concession stand. They have that at the commission park. So when you want to utilize that part is a rental part, is what I'm trying to say. Martin Luther King has the the other different kind of, but they call it pavilion, you can call it TP, you can call it a tent, whatever you wanna call it. But I'm just saying the bathroom should be open during hours of the park.
Just want to add to
That's all.
that too, we do have the association retired person, and we do, are part of that. We have employees, or they have employees that work for the city on the city behalf. So what we can do is have a park restroom attendants maybe can use some of that time to monitor the restrooms, and make sure they're open and closed. That's just a possibility.
I was just saying this bathroom, I think it's sad that bathrooms wasn't for
Yeah,
residents to use.
Commissioner Perez?
My only question is, to go to any park, if you wanna go with your family and sit on the table and maybe have a picnic, you have to pull a permit for that?
If over 50 people, they're looking at it, or the city's looking at it as a special event.
There wasn't over 50 people.
Huh?
It wasn't over 50
No,
people.
so it wouldn't need a permit in that case.
That's it, I don't have nothing to say.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowden? Thank you, sir. Commissioner Gonzalez?
I just want to say that I know the issue right now we're having is the bathrooms for the public. And I know we're addressing this right now. We're trying to figure something out. But in different areas, you go to any of the public bathrooms, any of the public parks, the bathrooms are open 7 days a week. But they also have a time limit. And as for like Ms. Perez, Commissioner Perez said, we did not have, there weren't 50 people at the gathering that was set on Sunday. So to me, like, I can understand if there's 50 people, you have to pull a permit, special permit to throw an event, but there's still no reason why the bathroom shouldn't be open, at least one. And I'm not putting the pressure on anybody, but as a commission, we need to get together and resolve this ASAP, because there's kids that are out there all the time. And we don't expect kids to go behind the building, behind trees, bushes, to use the bathroom, because there's a lot of pedophiles. Nobody wants to admit, but there's a lot of pedophiles around our community, and we need to watch out. We need to defend the kids. We need to be the first ones to step up to further safety. So I might ask the commission, or actually I want to ask the city manager, what's the, where are we at with putting cameras out there on the building? For the
At the last commission meeting, there was 5 areas, so I've gotten proposals from 3 sections of it, but you know, there was not only just surveillance, it's security, it's,
right.
you know, other
But
things.
in reference to having at least cameras face the park area, the bathrooms, and behind the building, at least 4 or 5 cameras.
Well, I agree. I mean, some of the prices have been up there. They're anywhere from 10,000 up to 25 to 30,000.
That's with the Wi-Fi service and all.
Yeah, to cover all your angles.
Okay.
It's up there. Now we can start off at you know, that's options that, you know, we can look at, because one of the main concerns is the marina and campground, you know, protecting that. There are some cameras there.
Right.
We just need to upgrade those systems.
Do we have to have a special, not special meeting, but a town hall meeting in reference to the cameras?
First of all, we need to decide too what we're gonna fund. I think at our last meeting, we had put on for future agenda items for Mr. Lucas to bring back costs of different things that we want to consider, the park ranger, the surveillance.
It was 5 areas.
Can we bring a consultant in reference just to surveillance? Is that possible?
You wanna make it 6 and make it consultant?
Does it have a consultant? Is there a way that the city has one, or we could speak about the numbers and the angles?
Yeah, I could do that, so that way now it's 6 items, because it was 5.
Right. Whatever it takes to,
So-
for the security for the kids out there. All right. If possible, the commission approves it and supports it.
Okay, haven't heard all the commissioners that comments at this time. I entertain a motion for the adjournment of the meeting. There's a second?
Oh, second.
Moved by Vice Mayor Mervin, second by Commissioner Gonzalez for the adjournment of the meeting. Call for question, hearing none. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden.
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Meeting adjourned 8:44.